Good day, everyone. My name is Karil Lauren Kapungan, and together with my teammates, Alin Dahel and Aprilin Tito, we're going to discuss with you today the midterm topic Lesson 3, Language and Education Policies in Southeast Asia. To begin, learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to describe the language and education policies of Southeast Asian countries, identify the similarities and differences in these policies, explain how these policies affect education, culture, and society, discuss the challenges in implementing language policies in schools, suggest possible improvements for language and education in the region. To begin with the proper discussion, language and education policy means what language will be used when it comes to medium of instruction in school. So this is the rules and may be the guidelines that the authorities will follow. So it means nga, example karon sa tong school, it will depend with our language education policy kung atong gamiton ba of medium of instruction is English, Filipino, or Cebuano. If ato alang sa Philippines or may it be here sa atong school. Southeast Asia is mainly composed of religiously, culturally, and historical diverse countries. We can all agree to that. Kay, we are very rich and very diverse as Southeast Asian countries. So, sige tag tabi, sige tag storya about Southeast Asian policies without knowing if unsa man jud ang mga countries nga belong ani nga organization. It is the first Brunei, Jerusalem, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. So there are 10 Southeast Asian countries, okay? But just in case nga mag-search bita mo sa Google, there will be a lot of resources nga muhatag nimo nga 11 sila kabuok, which is gi-include nila ang Timor-Leste nga country. But naipo nga niya mo nga nang wala na mo gi-appeal sa among report today and nga nang wala po siya sa gihatag bitaw nga list ni Miss Florentino sa GC, it's because Timor-Leste is actually not yet a full member of Southeast Asian countries. So, gi-accept sila to qualify, pero as of the moment, as of 2025, they are still in process for the requirements para ma-appeal sila as appeal sa lista sa Southeast Asian countries. The reason why nga gi-appeal sila sa mga lista pod sa ubang sources, it's because Timor-Leste is actually invited pod nga ma-appeal sa mga meetings, sa mga kanang events nga gipangbuhat sa Southeast Asian countries. But once again, we are not yet fully part of the Southeast Asian countries. So wala pagid siya. So 10 ra jud ang official nga appeal sa Southeast Asian nation. Okay? So, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or stands with acronym CMIO, is a regional intergovernmental organization established in 1965 among governments of Southeast Asian countries to promote regional cooperation in education, science, and culture in the region. So, ang CMIO, sila pod ang organization nga kanang organize Southeast Asian countries. So sila pod ang ning accept sa accept sa pag-apply sa Timor-Leste nga mo-appeal sila sa Southeast Asian nations. But yes, as of the moment wala pa gihapon. So kaning CMAO is ang gitipon bitaw nga kanang governments from Southeast Asian countries. Sila ang promote or kanang sila ang nagkupot para joiner gihapon or there are still kanang culture in the region. So para ma-preserve siya ang kada culture and even education and other parts sa Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia is culturally and linguistically diverse region. Once again, we can all agree to that. Tungod sa kadaghan nato, 10 countries sa usa lang ka region, we are very also, even us here in the Philippines, we still value our linguistics even though they are not non-dominant gani or kanang ethnicity. We are still um, having values with that. So, as tapod ang other countries nga atong kauban sa Southeast Asia. All Southeast Asian nations have their respective dominant ethno-linguistic groups and national or official languages, but does not contradict their great cultural and linguistic diversity. There are around 1,000 languages that are spoken in the region. So for Southeast Asia lang, we have 1,000 languages nga gigamit. So even though that we have respective dominant groups nga naa sa atong mga countries and lahi-lahi taog national and official languages, it will not defy the fact nga very diverse ta tungod sa atong kadaghan. Daghan kaayo ta sa tanan. Even our languages are linguistic. We will start off with the first country, Brunei Darussalam. Brunei is the smallest Southeast Asian nation in terms of population. So sila sa 10 kabuok countries, sila ang pinakagamay og population. So it means gamay ra ang mga tawo nga naa didto compared sa lain. Pero that doesn't mean nga gamay ra gid sila ha nga maihap ra, dili sad. But they are kanang sila ang pinakagamay og count or head counts sa Brunei or sa Southeast Asian rather, I'm so sorry. Brunei is also ethnically and linguistically diverse because they speak or 17 languages are spoken in Brunei. So daghan-daghan pod. So a lot of these are non-dominant and na-aside dominant. Most of the population belongs to various Malay groups speaking several Malay languages. So ang ning-dominate sa Brunei is ang Malay groups sa ilahang population. So gamit sila og Malay languages. Brunei Darussalam is the only female country where the use of local languages in education is legally prescribed. Meaning, sa ilahang mga local dito, like for example, if atong i-compare diri sa Philippines, like for example, kita sa Danao, part sa Cebu, part sa Philippines, we are allowed, diba, to use vernacular Cebuano. Right now, I am talking with you with vernacular Cebuano, kay we are allowed to use man ang ato ang local language which is Cebuano, Binisaya. They are also like that in Brunei with their localities. So, Brunei Malay ang ilahang widely used gid nga murag everyday used or localities nila dito. So, they are allowed to use that. Kaya ang uban, dili man pwede. The bilingual education policy in Brunei demonstrated a consistent focus on promoting bilingual education. So they are very focused on providing their students or letting their students be bilingual speakers. So munang ningsugot sila nga they can use local languages. Local languages, yes, other than sa ilang official language for them to be bilingual. Standard Malay and English are used as the media of instruction by the education system according to a language policy emphasizing bilingualism in those languages. So, Standard Malay is used more at the pre-primary level in the early grades of primary education. So, mo ni ilahang national and official language ang Standard Malay and English. Muna ang ilahang gigamit po sa ilang education system. But, Standard Malay is only used to formal situations like governments, business, and education. Magamit siya. Like for us, sa ato Filipino, di ba? It is used in Peninsular Malaysia, official language according to the Constitution of 1959, and as what I've said, Standard Malay is only used for formal situations. It is not generally current in daily interpersonal communication. So, dili nila magamit casually every day kung kisa ilang kastorya. But it will depend. It will depend if ang ilang kastorya is formal or higher authorities like governments or makig-business talk sila or even in education, ilang dapat gamiton Standard Malay jud. English is a more prominent medium at higher levels of learning. So, ang English is, if ang Standard Malay, ari sa mga pre-primary, like, kanang, if atoa pa, kay, ari bitaw sa murag elementary, kindergarten to elementary, ang ilaha dito sa English is, magamit nila ari na sa higher levels. Like, for example, high school or college, mo gamit nila ang English or ilahang use as medium language. Brunei Malay is the most widely spoken language in the country, serves as the medium of wider communication, spoken as the first language by a vast of majority of the population. Sa mo ni ang Brunei Malay nga akong giingon ganiha nga maoy widely gyud nga gamit nila sa locality lang. So mo ni ilang gagamit for communication in everyday situations nila sa ilang kinabuhi. So, pares nato, kita mga Bisaya man ta, mag-istorya ta sa atong parents, sa atong friends, or even sa school, is Bisaya atong gigamit. Sa mo ni ilahasad sa ilaha sa Brunei Malay. Okay? If ato lang siyang i-compare para dali masabtan. That would be the all for Brunei Darussalam. We will proceed to the second Southeast Asian country, which is Cambodia. Cambodia has 22 languages. These 22 languages are spoken, but Khmer, being the largest ethno-linguistic group, comprising approximately 90% of the population. So, even though daghan sila languages, which is 22, ang pinaka-dominant gid nila dito is Khmer. Cambodia is also one of the linguistically least diverse nations in Asia. Muna gitawag siya least diverse because as what I've said, even though daghan sila languages nga gi-speak, naaragi usa nga very dominant gid sa whole country sa Cambodia, which is kaning Khmer, because they are the kanang pinakadako nga group or gidominate sila sa kani nga group ning comprised of 90%. 90% super kadako sa ilahang kanang kuan pagkuha sa ilang population. So the Constitution of 1993 establishes Khmer as the official language, and the Khmer script also has official status. So mo ra gid ilahang ginagamit, may it be formal or informal nga settings sa Cambodia. Education policy in Cambodia until late 1990s, Khmer was the medium of instruction at all education levels. Tanan, gikan sa kung sa Cambodia pa ang ilahang gamit sa pre-primary kay Standard Malay, then pag higher na kay English. Ari sa Cambodia, Khmer kagid gikan sa imuhang pag-eskwela, sugod kag eskwela, hangtod ning graduate ka, Khmer jud siya. L1 or imuhang primary language based bilingual education programs using 5 non-dominant languages, Brau, Bunong, Kavet, Krong, and Tampuan, have been introduced in both formal and non-formal settings. So even though nga ang Khmer kagid ilahang gamit sa education, they also provided or like ilahang gi-introduce ang non-dominant, meaning non-dominant is for locals lang. Wala gid siya ning dominant. Wala gid siya ning take up sa whole country. Moto ang Brau, Bunong, Kavet, Krong ug Tampuan. Gi-introduce siya, and then ari sa sunod the bilingual education programs, the use of non-dominant languages or NDLs has been successful, particularly in regions where ethno-linguistic minorities previously lacked access to education. So, as what I've said earlier, localities, so magamit siya sa katong mga areas bitaw nga kanang poor jud or lack kuwang ang ilahang kanang access sa education. So, ang ilahang gigamit na lang is ang ilahang local language like Tampuan. So, para pod makaton ang ilahang mga estudyante, ilahang mga bata, even though dili sila ka access sa full about kanang mga gamit sa education, ilaha gyapon gitudloan nangita sila paagi. A major factor in their success has been the active involvement of local communities, including their role in curriculum and language development, producing educational materials, and recruiting teachers. So, di ba, at first, kuwang man, ilang mga resources or ilang access to education. Nagkadugay is, ning success sila because a lot or ning tabang pod, nagkatidabangay, tanan, local communities nila, nakiktabang, and then, gisunod pod nila ang ilahang curriculums and ang ilahang language development, ilahag yung gi-pursue nga makakaton gid ilahang mga bata. Producing educational materials, at first, di ba, kuwang, karon gi-provide na sila. And then, recruiting teachers. Nang-recruit na sila teachers para makatudlo sa ilahang mga students. Kaya di ba, lack man jud education nila. Informal education projects like the Highland Children's Education Project, success is also attributed to community governance, local staff who speak non-dominant languages, competitive teacher salaries, and strong community participation. So the reason why nganing success jud ang paggamit sa non-dominant languages, it's because of this. Kay mga staff pod sa ilahang kanang mga government mogamit pod sa non-dominant languages, so maila jud siya ang funds or like the Highland Children's Education Project attributed sa community sa ilahang governance. Then competitive teacher salaries, so motivated gid ang mga teachers nga motudlo even sa localities because competitive man ang kwarta or competitive ang ihatag nga sweldo sa ilaha. And strong community participation. So, nindot hunahon diba nga, ning success sila sa ilahang goal because nagtinabangay gid sila. Even though sa kanang kuan man lang, community, sa ilahang gamay ra baron nga community or dako nga community, pero nagtinabangay gid sila. Education Law of 2007 grants authorities the flexibility to choose languages of instructions, including non-dominant languages. However, it remains unclear if the law includes immigrant languages like Cham, Chinese, and Vietnamese. So, ang nga law is that they provided authorities like teachers nga mogamit unsa ilang language of instructions, whether would it be Khmer or katong mga non-dominant like katong Brau, Bunong, Tampuan. So it will depend on the authorities or the teachers nga nagtudlo if unsa ilahang gamiton. It will based on their language education policy. So for example, sa kaninga community ang ilahang first language kay Tampuan. So mura sad pod ang gamiton sa ilahang teacher. It will depend. They have the freedom to choose the language just of instruction nga ilahang ganahan itudlo sa mga estudyante or ilahang gamiton para magtudlo sa mga estudyante. However, is that wala pa ang clear sa ilahang law if magamit ba ang Cham, Chinese, or Vietnamese or ilhabang i-include. Kaya di ba naman to ganiha, some schools ning offer. So dili daghan, gamay ra. Recent policy changes have weakened earlier support for NDLs or non-dominant languages, which initially allowed instruction in public schools in students' first languages. So based on what I have searched is that diba ning support sila sa non-dominant languages. But tungod sa ilahang pag-usab kay dili man jud mo stay tanan butang sa kalibutan, di ba? We are dynamic. We are currently changing. Every day, na-adjust changes. So, sa Cambodia, na ay recent policy nga ang ilahan na yung gamiton is ang official language nila, which is Khmer. Ning contradict siya sa ilaha bitawng pag or ning weekend. I'm so sorry. Ning weak ang ilahang support sa non-dominant languages. Kay instead nga, di ba, gitagaan sila og authority, gitagaan sila og freedom to choose if unsa ilahang ganahan nga gamiton for language of instruction. Pero sa tungod sa recent policy changes is Khmer na jud ilahang gamiton officially. Ilahang official language as language of instruction. So sad lang kay kanang dili na kaayo or not that promoted na at this time sa Cambodia ang ilahang NDLs or non-dominant languages. So that would be all for the second Southeast Asian country that we have, which is Cambodia. Let's proceed to Indonesia. Indonesia has more than 740 languages. It is the most diverse country in all of Asia. Imagine 740 languages, daghan kaayo. It is the second globally after Papua New Guinea. So, kung sa kuan lang, sa Asia, siya ang pinaka. Pero, so, globally, kung globally, apil na tong mga kuan gawas na sa Southeast Asia, ikaduha siya. Where some 850 languages, ang kaning sa Papua New Guinea niha, ang 850 languages are spoken. So, imagine, anak ka-diverse, anak kadaghan ang languages sa Indonesia, no? 740 languages. Wow. It is official or the official and national language used in Indonesia according to the 1945 Constitution is Indonesian. It's Bahasa Indonesia. Indonesian is also the language of instruction at all levels of education. So pareho sa Cambodia, gikan sa imong pagsud sa eskwelahan hangtod mo graduate ka, Indonesian ang ilahang language of instruction. The Indonesian Constitution of 1945 guarantees the use and development of non-dominant languages and encourages people to use, develop, and preserve their local languages. So, nasa sila constitution nga even though ang ilang official languages nga gamiton from all of the levels from kindergarten bago na until nag-college sila is Indonesian, there is still naagihapoy rights ang ilahang people to use their local languages. Like, for example, sa kani baron, para sa ato agani nga kagamit na kagihapon tag Bisaya. Same ra gihapon sa ilaha. There are protected or ang mga tao dito nga mogamit sa ilahang local languages is na ay nag-protect pod nila nga constitution in the Indian Constitution of 1945 para ma-preserve nila ang ilahang mga local languages, ilahang mga gipanggamit, ma-preserve, ma-use, ma-develop pa. Then, Law number 20 of 2003, Chapter 7, Article 33, Section 2, states that a mother tongue other than Indonesian can be used as the language of instruction in the early stages of education, if needed in the delivery particular knowledge and or skills. So, kanisad nga law is, di ba, Indonesian man tunog, gikan pagka, bata nimo hantot ka mo dako. But there are also an exception nga, mo use og mother tongue other than Indonesian if needed gid siya in purpose of delivery kay nagid biyay mga bata early stages of education, nagid biyay bisan kita ato mga bata nga naa diri sa balay, iba Bisaya jud atong pag-igistorya nila, so nila eskwelahan, there will be struggles if ang teacher mo gamit din og instruction nga dili sila familiar. So law number 20 of 2003 will be the same. Dili dapat or mogamit ang mga teachers og local languages or mother tongue sa bata. Dili sila modrit sa og gamit og Indonesian if ang bata maglisod pa og sabot. Early stages of education. Kay kung unsa ilahang gigamit nga kanang language, no, mother tongue magandang gamit sa bata sa ilahang balay. Inag-eskwela nila if imong digsuon og storya or imong language of instruction is dili familiar nila, samot na tong mga naman siya mga taga-Lagyo, di ba, mga taga-Bukid, nga, dili gid sila ka-access og internet, nga, makatudlo ilang maestra ay ilahang parents nila og Indonesian baron or English. So, inigadto nila sa school, mag-depend kagid sila sa teacher nga motudlo nila. So, kaning law number 20 of 2003 makatabang siya sa mga estudyante nila in early ages. And that would be all for Indonesia, our third Southeast Asian country. And that would be all for my part in the report. I hope that you have learned something from me today, and I will pass you over to my member that will also discuss the other or the language and policies in other Southeast Asian countries, April and Tito and Aling Dahil. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is April and Octaristita from BSED E2A. So, since the Karel already discussed the three Southeast Asian countries, which is the Brunei, Darussalam, Cambodia, and Indonesia, so now let's move forward to Laos, or Lao People Democratic Republic, or also known as the Lao PDR. So Laos and Lao People Democratic Republic there are 86 estimated number of languages spoken, including Lao, which is their official language, and the Akha, Alak, Aren, Binshan, Bet, Lao, Lao Prabang, then Paksi, and Thai. So according to the Constitution of 1991, Lao is the official language and the Lao script is the official script. So Lao is the dominant language in the country with more than 3 million first language speakers. So 3 million, daghan na kayo, no? So next is the Khmu, spoken by the largest ethno-linguistic minority, accounting for around 11% of the national population. And Khmu can refer to the two things: the Khmu people, a large ethnic minority group primarily in the northern Laos, known for their traditional agriculture, craftsmanship, and animist beliefs, or the Khmu language, an Austroasiatic language spoken by the Khmu people in Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and China. The term also has historical English spelling, so na siya mga lahing spelling ang Khmu, which is the Khmu, Khmu, and the Khubro. The majority live in northern and central, so mo nilang location, live in the northern and central Laos, but they also have communities in Vietnam na sila, so naay nagpuyo sa kanang northern and central Laos, but nasa nagpuyo sa community sa Vietnam, sa Thailand, sa China, and United States. So nagkabuwag-buwag yun siya. So next is the Hmong, with around 8%, though there are actually 2 Hmong languages subsumed by this title. The Hmong do not have their own country, so wala sila kaugalingong country, so na belong ra gyapon sila sa Laos. They are an ethnic group whose ancestral homeland is in China. So ilag yung ano sa China, from which they have migrated to various Southeast Asian countries like Laos. So Vietnam, Thailand, and Myanmar. After the Vietnam War, so naay nahitabo nga Vietnam War. So pagkahuman sa Vietnam War, many Hmong were forced to flee their homes due to persecution and have since resettled in countries worldwide, including the United States, France, Canada, and Australia. So next is the Education Law of 2000. Stipulates the use of Lao in education and can be interpreted to allow the use of the Lao only. So it means nga prohibited kuno ang Lao, like mao gamiton ang Lao gamiton sa pagtudlo or pagklase. So next is the National Socio-Economic Development Plan, the NSEDP 2000 promotes the use, learning, and teaching of NDLs that already have orthographies The plan also promotes the further development and maintenance of NDLs and as steps in developing poorest areas of the country. So next is the Lao People's Party 2007 proposes further research and orthography development in non-dominant languages and recommends that minority language or topographies be based in the Lao script. So dapat kuno sa Lao script magbase. Then to contribute to the quality teaching of Lao to non-Lao speakers. The 2000 Lao People's Party proposal calls for more research into minority language or orthography development and recommends that minority script be based on the Lao script to improve the teaching of Lao to non-Lao speakers. This approach aims to leverage the structure of the Lao script, which has been adapted for some minority languages, to create a consistent and accessible writing system for diverse linguistic groups within Laos. We are done to Laos. So now let's move forward to Malaysia. So Malaysia has 140 estimated languages. So the Malays are the dominant ethno-linguistic group, which make up about half of the total population. The Constitution of 1957 establishes Standard Malay, Bahasa Malaysia or Bahasa Melayu as the official and national language. So muna ilang official language, which is the Bahasa Malaysia and the Bahasa Melayu. The Constitution also guarantees people freedom to use, teach, and learn any languages, as well as the preservation and maintenance of the non-dominant languages. So next is the Education Act 1961, applied to all levels of education where Malay language is used to the medium of instruction in schools. All have a common curriculum and a public examination will be administered for all schools. So next is the National Education, was implemented in 1970, where English medium schools were gradually converted to national schools where Malay languages was not only used as the medium of instruction but learned as subject in both primary and secondary schools. So pare kanang sa to bitaw no di ba nasa tay kanang kuan mga like moy gikuan gifok nagitay subject nga Filipino ba para makuan jud bitaw mahibaw na to ang atong history or kanang kuan natin mga knowledge. Then English language at this stage was gradually phased out but retained as an important Lesson 2 or L2 subject taught in schools. So the National Education Policy in 1970 has a major reformation of the education system in 1979 was implementation of new primary schools curriculum or Curriculum Baru Sekolah Rendah or the KBSR in 1983 and integrated secondary school curriculum or Curriculum Bersepadu Sekolah Menengah KBSM in 1989. Both these curricula were fully implemented by 2022. So ang purpose ani nga curriculum is to shift from a content heavy curriculum to a more child-centered approach, focusing on basic literacy, numeracy, and values. So next is government system of formal education has two kinds of schools: national primary schools, which is used standard Malay as the main language of instruction, whereas mathematics and science are taught in English. Then pupils' own language or POL, a studied subject where their medium were Malay, Tamil, and Mandarin, as well as other non-dominant languages including ethno-linguistic minority languages. This subject is offered on some conditions. There are at least 15 students whose parents request a mother tongue class, and teachers and materials for the language in question are available. So next is the national type primary schools. Use some other language such as Mandarin, Chinese, Tamil, or an alternative Indian language as the medium of instruction, and mathematics and science are taught in language and English. In the East Malaysian state of Sarawak, Iban has been taught as a school subject for several years. In the state of Sabah, also in East Malaysia, Kada Zendusun has been taught in government schools for some time in Peninsular Malaysia. An Orang Asli language called Simay is being taught in some government schools. So Myanmar, so since we are done to the two Southeast Asian countries, which is the Laos and the Malaysia, now let's move forward to the last one, which is the Myanmar. So Myanmar is the over 100 languages are spoken in the Union of Myanmar. So with some estimates suggesting the number could be closer to 200. So wala pagigikuan nga exact nga number sa kanang language spoken nila. Then the Myanmar or Bamar or Burmese group is the largest ethno-linguistic group that accounts for 75% of the population. Wow, kadaghan. The Shang make up over 10% of the nation with 3 million. The Arakanese, Sigaw, Karen, Po, Karen, Pao, Karen, Mon, and Lengpo each have populations around or over 1 million, while another 30 ethno-linguistic groups have over 100,000 members. So language policy in Myanmar, Burmese or Myanmar, is the official language of Myanmar according to the 2008 constitution, and it is also the main government education system. So minority languages were widely used in education, particularly in states with large non-Bamar populations until the late 1980s. So the 1974 constitution had affirmed the right of minorities to be taught in their language alongside Burmese, but these policies were discontinued in the late 1980s. So the 2008 constitution reaffirms the right of minorities to use and develop their languages, but there are no longer specific statements about the language of education in the constitution. As a result, non-dominant languages are not widely used in formal education. Next is the education system. So majority of children are educated in Burmese, although around 30% of children do not speak Burmese when they first enter the education system. Non-dominant languages are primarily used in non-formal education, often organized by civic society and religious communities. So government supported non-formal education programs including literacy classes are conducted in Burmese, although in some areas, non-dominant languages like Mon are taught as school subjects outside of regular school hours. So support for these languages, however, has been reduced in recent years. So that's all for my report, guys. Thank you. So I will give the floor to Kuya Allen. Thank you.
Good day, everyone, and to you, Miss Florentino. I am Alin Sidahel, and I'm going to continue the topic language and education policies in Southeast Asia. So let's start with Mabuhay, Philippines. So Philippines has 180 languages and are estimated to be spoken in the country, according to Ethnologue 2008. In terms of language diversity, it is only second to Indonesia with over 740 languages in Southeast Asia. Languages such as Bicol, Cebuano, Ilonggo, Ilocano, and Tagalog are spoken by millions of people and widely used as languages of wider communication in their respective areas. So we all know that our country is the most linguistically diverse also in Asia. with an estimated 180 languages. And examples include Cebuano, Bicol, Ilonggo or Hiligaynon, and Tagalog, which millions use for everyday life and local communication. So daghan kay tag mga pinulungan diri sa ato ang or lengguwahe diri sa ato ang country, no. Orthographies already exists in most of the languages, and more than 100 languages possess written materials. So, in our country, languages already have an orthography, meaning a writing system, the rules and letters for writing words. No, ang orthography paagi ni siya sa pagsulat sa usa ka lengguwahe. So according also to Ethnologue 2008, more than 100 local languages have written materials such as storybooks, poems, Bibles, newspapers, or even Facebook pages. So in Cebuano natay gitawag og Sunstar Cebu. And chat messages like kumusta na ka, no? Use its orthography to nangumusta sa usa ka higala. In Waray and Ilocano also, there are printed Bibles and grammar books exist in these languages. No? Tagbanwa sa Palawan, some groups still use their ancient script. So, kanimanggod, ang having a writing system helps children learn to read and write their mother tongue, preserves culture, and supports literacy programs nga para ang mga bata dali ra makasabot. So according to the 1987 Constitution, we are familiar with this. The national language is Filipino based on Tagalog, and Filipino and English are the official languages. So according to the Article 14 of the 1987 Philippines Constitution, it declares that Filipino based on Tagalog is our national language. Filipino is meant to unite us, while English is seen as a global language used for education or any of the situation. So always remember that official language is a language approved by law for government, education, and formal use. So the bilingual education policy of 1974 revised in 1987. It states that English and Filipino are the languages of education and the official languages of literacy. The goal of this policy is to create a population bilingual in the official languages. Regional non-dominant languages have been elevated to rule of auxiliary languages. In practice, however, this has usually meant that non-dominant languages are used orally to explain the curriculum to students rather than using them seriously as media of instruction. So in 1974, the Bilingual Education Policy or the BEP was introduced and revised in 1987. So, ang goal niya kay to make Filipinos bilingual in English and Filipino. Under this policy, na ang English gamiton sa pagtudlo sa science, math, or any na ma-integrate ang English nga language. Filipino nga magamit sa ato ang social studies, values education, and some literature. No regional non-dominant languages or NDLs like Waray, Kapampangan, or Maranao are called auxiliary languages, kay makatabang magud ni siya sa maestra nga pag-explain, orally, especially for young learners. So kani siyang gitawag auxiliary language, as I said, it is a helper language used to assist understanding for teaching to the kids. For example, kita as a teacher magtudla kintahay tag math. We use the official language English, like mangutanat na sa ato ang kanang students nga what is 5 plus 3. But ato pa ni siyang i-explain para dili ma-confuse bitaw ang student, like mo na ta sa ato mga students la unsa ni mga bata, 5 plus tulo. Pila man, no? This ensures comprehension manggod sa mga bata nga dali pod makasabot, no? Kay ngano manggod, ang students often feel more confident when teachers allow their mother tongue during difficult lessons. Like makaingon jud sila nga, madi ay ni, no, when concepts are explained in familiar words. No, as future educators, we can balance policies and local realities, no? Gamiton nato ang English o Filipino as planned, no? Pero respetuhon o gamiton pod nato gihapon ang atong mother tongue. Kay mao man ni ang ato ang identity sa usa. So mao pod na ang identity sa usa ka bata, no? Para makasabot pod as early age pa nila or grades pa nila, mas sayon pa pagsabot. So we are done with our country. So let's proceed to Singapore. So Singapore, around 30 languages are believed to be spoken in Singapore. 3/4 of the population are ethnic Chinese, speaking many different variety of Chinese. Malays make up about 14% of the population. Indians account for around 9% speak of many different languages. Tamil speakers being the largest community. About 2% of the population consists of other ethno-linguistic groups. Most Singaporeans are multilingual, and it should be noted that in Singapore, ethnicity, home language, and or mother tongue do not always correspond. No, Singapore may be small, pero grabe jud kay ni siya ka-diverse sa ilahang lingwahe. So daghan kay sila language geek from different countries, no? Researchers estimate that around 30 languages are spoken there. About 3/4 of the population are ethnic Chinese, speaking different varieties of Chinese like Mandarin, Hokkien, Teochew, Cantonese, and etc. Malays make up about 14%, and Indians around 9%, with Tamil as the largest Indian language group. No? There's also small 2% from other communities, like Eurasian, expats, and others. Importante nga mahibaw-an nga sa Singapore, dili jud magtupong ang ethnicity, home language, ug ang mother tongue. Kay ngano, meaning ana, your race doesn't always decide what you speak at home. For example, a Chinese child may speak English more than Mandarin because of school and media. So language policy in Singapore. Let's know about this. Singapore's language policy is unique in Southeast Asia. The Constitution of 1965 stipulates four official languages: Malay, Mandarin Chinese, Tamil, and English. Standard Malay is the national language. The Constitution guarantees the use of teaching and learning of these languages and supports the maintenance of non-dominant languages. Singapore's language policy is considered unique in Southeast Asia because it officially supports four languages. The standard Malay of their national language, Mandarin Chinese, Tamil, and English. So under the 1965 Constitution, these languages are protected for use, teaching, and learning. The government also encourages preserving smaller, non-dominant languages, though classroom instruction focuses mainly of the big four. So, let's always remember that national language is a language that symbolizes a country's identity. In Singapore's, that's Malay. In our country, that's Filipino, based on Tagalog. Let's proceed to Singapore's education system. English is the main language of instruction at all levels of education. Some subjects are taught through one of the official mother tongue languages, i.e. Malay, Mandarin, or Tamil. Students speaking in Indian languages other than Tamil can also study those subjects. There is a system in place for students whose home language is none of the above, but they still must study through two languages not spoken at home. Speakers of non-dominant languages can choose from those offered in school curriculum, though there is no provision for education in non-dominant languages as such. The shift towards English as the home language among the major ethnic groups, especially Chinese, is ongoing. Census data shows that English is increasingly becoming the main home language, with Mandarin also seeing significant adoption, particularly among the Chinese population. Their education system, no? Kay gitawag na mo jud nila ang English is the main language of instruction, no? From primary school to university. Mo man gud ni antulay, no? Mo ni antulay nga language sa tanan, whatever their ethnic background. Students also learn a mother tongue language, no, based on their ethnic registration. Malay for Malays, Mandarin for Chinese, Tamil for most Indians. Indian students who speak other languages like Hindi, Punjabi can choose them as their mother tongue language subject. If their home language isn't one of the four, like for example, may language nila nga French or Arabic or Tagalog baron, no, they still study English plus an official mother tongue language offered by schools. No, take note that in their education system, there's no full schooling in non-dominant languages, but you may take them as a co-curricular subjects or learn at community centers. Census data shows a shift to English at home, especially among Chinese families, while Mandarin remains strong because of national campaigns. No? For example, Speak Mandarin movement. So, nakadaghan ang mga pamilya nga mas komportable na mag-storya og English diri sa Singapore kaysa sa ilahang ethnic language. For example, a student may speak English at school, Mandarin with grandparents, and Singlish, no, English plus local words with friends. So, diri man god multilingual juggling is normal in Singapore. Singlish is an informal blend of English, Malay, Hokkien, Tamil, or etc. For example, Kanya, meaning sure. So, we can see how Singapore balances unity through English and diversity through mother tongue language subjects. Makaingon gyud ta nga, pwede di ay nga usa ka sistema pero respetado gihapon ang roots or their identity. No, I just realized in Singapore, kinahanglan gyud og clear nga policy og suporta para ma-reserve ang usa ka identity og mahatagan og equal chance ang tanang language. So let's continue with Kapun Ka, Thailand. So Thailand is mostly known for its one big language, the Standard Thai, based on the speech of Bangkok in Central Thai. Based on the speech of Bangkok, the central country of Thailand. This is the de facto or in practice official and national language. About 90% of Thai citizens speak it as their first language, and almost everyone understands it because it's used in schools, media, and government. Pero dili lang Standard Thai ang naa sa nasod nila. There are other related pod nga Thai languages in the regions like Isan, Northeastern Thai, Northern Thai, Kham, Myang, and Southern Thai. Some ethnic communities also speak Malay, Khmer, or Karen. Daghan pa yun og kanang language, though wala kayo sila nga maila sa ka-formal settings diri sa Thailand. So, language policy in Thailand. The 1997 Constitution and social changes since the 1990s opened more chances for minorities to use their own tongues or mother tongues. But here's the catch. There's no explicit written national language policy. This means Standard Thai dominates by default. For learners whose first language is different, this can be a barrier. Kung sa Bisaya pa, lisod jud kung dili mao ang lengguwahe nga imong nadunggan sukad pagkabata unya mao dayon ang gigamit sa klase. Kay dili man magkisinabtanay. So, de facto means something that exists in reality even if it's not written in law. The educational system of Thailand is the standard Thai is the primary medium of instruction at all school levels. So makabantay kita sa ilaha nga waji ka ng laing language, usa ra jud ang atong kuan, like for example, mananawta silang salida like wala gyud lain, standard Thai ra gyud. And around half of the population whose mother tongue isn't standard Thai often struggle, especially in the early grades. Non-dominant languages like Hmong, Karen, or Patani Malay are mainly used in non-formal programs or community projects, not in mainstream classrooms. A few groups use their own language side by side with standard Thai, but this is neither widespread nor formally supported by government policy. NGOs and civil society organizations like the Thailand Research Fund or CIL project push for bilingual education, but there's no strong official policy backing them. Debates continue about whether schools should integrate non-dominant languages into teaching or keep focusing only on standard Thai. For example, a grade 1 child in Patani whose home language is Malay enters school where everything is in Thai. At first, makulbaan gid siya kay dili man siya kasabot sa teacher, no? Little by little, she learns Thai, but it can delay reading and writing skills, no? We can learn from Thailand's experience. Maayo nga adunay consistency sa usa ka national language, pero dapat pud hatagan nato og respeto og lugar ang mga local languages so that the students can feel seen and supported by their mother tongue languages. Dili sila maulaw, mas confident pa jud sila kung tagaan nato sila gigayon nga mogamit sa ilahang mother tongue sa sulod sa classroom. So not the least, the last Southeast Asian country, the Vietnam. So Vietnam officially recognized 54 ethnic groups, though according to census data 1999 and other estimates about 10% of the population belongs to ethnic minority communities. The majority are Kin or Viet who mainly speaks Vietnamese. So diri pod sa Vietnam, daghan pod kaayo sila lahi-lahi nga language ug kultura. Like Hmong, Khmer, Giaray, Cham, Thai, ug uban pa. Pero kasagaran, dili kay sila magamit sa usa ka day-to-day communication. Tungod kay ang Vietnamese dominates almost all official domains in their country. Language policy in Vietnam. Vietnamese is the official and national language. It is also the main language of wider communication or lingua franca, used in government, education, media, or day-to-day communication. Although the 1991 education law revised in 2005 says ethnic groups have the right to use their own languages for studying or schooling, this is really practiced in their country. Kaya ang resulta, minority learners have to adjust fast to Vietnamese, even if they barely hear it at home. So lingua franca means a bridge language people use to communicate across groups. The education system of Vietnam is that Vietnamese is the primary medium of instruction from kindergarten to university or college. Minority groups, about 10% of the population, often face educational barriers because they start school with little or no Vietnamese. Programs that includes minority languages as subjects are often limited and top-down. designed by central authorities without much input from the communities themselves. Usually, only about 20% of the curriculum is allocated to teaching minority languages. Recently, pilot projects from the Ministry of Education and Training with UNICEF have tried a fully bilingual approach. These pilots in 3 provinces uses L1 or the first language literacy. For example, Hmong, Giaray, or Khmer as foundation for learning Vietnamese and other subjects. So that means nga tudloan ang usa ka bata sa pagbasa o pagsuwat sa ilahang mother tongue, no sa para sa yun ra nila makasabot sa sunod nga mga leksyon. May mangginang tudloan nato ang mga bata sa ilahang sa lingwahe or their mother tongue para dali lang jud sila makasabot, para maka-relate pod sila sa ilahang leksyon kung unsa na siya, di kay magpangutana, di kay sila ma-confuse sa leksyon sa sulod sa classroom. Makabantay po ta sa Vietnam nga maglisod po sila litok sa English, no? Like magkaang sa jud sila. Kay lagi ga-dominate sila ang Vietnamese, their language, their national language. So using Vietnamese as the only classroom language helps national unity and gives access to higher education and jobs. Pero for minority learners, starting with foreign language can slow down reading, writing, and confidence. No, ang Thailand, Singapore, o Vietnam, lahi-lahi sila og way sa paghandle sa diversity sa ilang language. No, Vietnam's pilot hint of a good path support mother tongue based language education so children learn strong literacy in their first language. Then add Vietnamese and English later. Makaingon ta nga kung solid ang foundation sa ilang lengguwahe, mas dali sila makasabot og makakat-on sa leksyon. So Vietnam's experience reminds us nga importante gyud di ay ang pag-empower sa first language or mother tongue sa usa ka bata. Kay ngano, when education starts in a language they understand or they can relate, mas dali ang transition to Vietnamese and beyond, no, leading to better learning and pride in their heritage, no. Mas makahibaw pa sila sa ilahang identity. And that's all for my report. Thank you everyone and God bless.